Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. We are we're playing a little Honkai Star Rail here. And Lego and I on Wednesday, we did a stream for like a couple hours or something like that, where we started up Honkai Star Rail, which is a single player game, but we just played it next to each other. And yeah, you know, I don't think he was like super into it or anything like that. I don't think it extremely grabbed his attention, just because he does not play many like turn-based games in general anymore, which is kind of shocking to me. Because that's really like what we grew up with. It was a lot of turn-based RPGs. But yeah, I really liked it, and so I've been playing it on my own a fair bit. And I spent some money on it as well. And yeah, I think it is pretty good so far. Would I say it's like better than Genshin? I don't know. I mean, they're pretty different games. I'm just gonna really turn down the audio there. They're pretty different games, obviously, mechanically. There's certainly the same trappings of Genshin here. There's certain things where it's just like, okay, yes, this is in this game. I remember the exact same concept from Genshin, so on and so forth. But naughty child, nap time. It is forced to be somewhat different due to being a turn-based RPG, single-player turn-based RPG, and as someone that does really enjoy turn-based RPGs, especially like mechanically complex ones, it's pretty satisfying, like how many systems are in play here, like, and how kind of customizable your party is, and all these kind of things. It's not like insane. It's not like insanely over the top, like Path of Exile or something like that. But for a turn-based RPG, it's pretty satisfying to me. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. It's a good, you know, trying to get into Genshin right now, there's just so much fucking content. Like, just a stupid amount of content. Much like Final Fantasy 14, where it just takes so long to get like caught up, if that's something that interests you. Whereas this, it just came out. This is the least amount of content the game will ever have, so it's kind of at a good point if you want to get into it from the ground up and you know, get caught up right now.
Time for a shot. I'll free you from your chain. Disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of.
Anyways, so this week on this channel we had Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. There's just so many videos in that series.
Now.
It's going to go on for a long time.
Whoops.
A very long time.
What are you looking at?
And speaking of Genshin, that has been continuing.
I'm okay.
So there'll be that.
Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing. Thanks for the support.
I don't know how long that's going to be ongoing
Who's next?
because
Commencing support.
I'm not done recording it. And we also started Jedi Survivor, which I decided to just kind of like upload whenever, just to throw it out there. And I only recorded one video so far. I've only played it for the one video because of all the performance issues, which are really ravaging it on Steam. And so I've been kind of holding off to see if there's going to be a patch or something, but I wouldn't hold out hope for that. So we're going to just keep going with the performance issues. But yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like a fun game outside of those issues.
This big diamond, it's all yours.
And that's pretty much that. Lego and I did, like I said, we did Star Rail on Wednesday. Yesterday, we did a really big, lengthy stream of Stardew Valley with a whole mess of mods, like 150 mods. And we're going to continue that on Wednesday. I don't know if we're going to continue it for much past Wednesday. But Lego really wants to get to summer in Stardew. He's never gotten to summer before. He has not played it much. So, yeah, we'll do it for a couple more hours on Wednesday at least. Over on the Exploring series, I released a video on a 001 proposal.
Time for a shot.
So that was good. I mean, it performed pretty well.
Honored to meet.
It seems like overall viewership is kind of increasing. I don't know what to attribute that to, but it seems good. I think the 001 proposals in general do fairly well, so you know. And then this week I worked on another 40K video specifically related to Cadia. And I actually was like sort of a little torn about what to call the video. I didn't want to really, at no point, like prior to discussing it in the video, did I want to kind of spoil the ultimate fate of Cadia. So I didn't really want to reference its like destruction in the title or anything, which plenty of YouTubers I'm sure would. But you know, I do things my own way. I also don't like clickbaity titles or anything like that, but I didn't want to just call the video Cadia, because that seems a little lame. So I settled on the fortress world of Cadia because it's somewhat evocative. You know, the term fortress world sounds kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm not very good at that sort of thing.
Analyze the targets before you.
But yeah, it's that video went pretty well. That was much better than the Primarch video as far as making it, because I didn't want to go nuts, you know.
I'll free you from your chain. Disappear among the sea of butterflies.
And so the video covering Cadia and its whole history could easily be an hour long. You know, if you really went in depth with everything and really, you know, obviously any video on any topic in Warhammer 40k could become an hour long. But I mean, I don't want to do that, because not everyone's interested in watching an hour-long video.
Target ready for another. Honored to meet me.
So it ended up being about 25 minutes, which is exactly where I wanted it to be. And
just a little something.
yeah, I mean, it's obviously not comprehensive completely, but really the aspect of it that's not entirely comprehensive is on all the Black Crusades that occurred against Cadia, led by Abaddon. I really didn't go over anything related to Crusades 2 through 12. Not that there's like an abundance of stuff related to them, but yeah, I could have talked about them if I really wanted to. And then the 13th Crusade I went over quite a bit, but
time for a shot. Don't mess with me.
that could easily get its own video that just expands on everything, because there's a lot of like specific characters and what they're doing throughout the crusade that I didn't go over, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, I could make a separate video just about that. The Chaos of Cadia. Yeah, I mean, that's a viable title for sure. It's hard to say. I mean, it's really not my forte and not something I generally care about too much. I'm not too YouTube algorithm savvy. You know, everyone says like, oh, you gotta have your face in the thumbnail. If you don't have your face in the thumbnail, the video won't perform as well. And that may be true. I mean, it could very well be true. And if it's all you care about, then yeah, I guess you got to get your face in the thumbnail. But like, I'm not even subscribed to like Linus Tech Tips or anything. I'm not subscribed, but I watch them, some of their channels here and there. And I was looking at my suggestion bar on the right side of YouTube, and like a bunch of his videos from a number of his channels were in there. And just every thumbnail was just someone's face and just making an expression. And it's like, my God, like there's no dignity. Dignity is just a foregone conclusion, because it's all about chasing those views. That's all that matters. And it's like, I guess in Linus's case, he's got like a business. He's got employees that depend on him and his success for their paychecks every week. I guess, you know, maybe it's a different story. But for me, oh God, never. Maybe as an April Fool's thing, but even then, like my face has no value. Hey, Durden. Durden, we've been missing you on Two Brothers Play. It's been pretty dead. So yeah, I don't know. I just make videos and hopefully they're good enough that people want to watch it, and that's kind of the end of it. Yes, I'm sure there's absolutely things that I could do that would help my videos perform better, but I'm pretty lazy. The Volgan, I know, always cared way more about performance metrics and, you know, optimization and stuff like that than I did. And I actually saw he passed me up on subscribers again. I passed him up a while back, but now he has regained the throne, I suppose. He had like a fucking banner month last month. And it seems specifically because he put out a very successful YouTube short about SCP-173. They got like 3.5 million views. So it must have been a somewhat decent conversion rate of subscriptions. You could try close-up faces of 40k characters for thumbnails. I could do that, that's true. I could have used... There was one artwork I used for the Cadia video that was basically just like a guardsman. Just, you know, somewhat close up, just at his face and stuff like that. I could have just like tossed that to the side, but I don't know. It just like, then you cut off like half the artwork that I normally use for the thumbnail, and then that artwork is mainly useless, and all you see is just a guardsman face zoomed up, and it's, I don't know, I just, yeah, I don't like the whole thing. Yeah, we did play Stardew, heavily modded, and it was very chill. And that's one of the most cozy, comfortable, chill games out there to play. Victory. And so, you know, even playing it with someone next to you, co-op for 5 hours, like, you know, it's just pretty chill. So, yeah, we're going to do it again on Wednesday for a couple hours, but that's probably going to be the end of Stardew. It's just a better game for sitting on your own on a rainy weekday or something, just farming your life away.
What a headache. I'll free you from your disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past. Time to twirl. What are you looking at? Nap time.
Right. So.
Honored to meet me. Ready for another?
So I guess I commend Volgan for finding a way to take his content and what he does, which is normally just read SCP articles, and find a way to make a popular YouTube short about it. So I'm sure that I could do something, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it would really be the sort of thing that I would just want to have someone else kind of help me do.
So you are afraid of me.
Like, okay, you handle everything related to making shorts. I'll narrate stuff if need be. And we'll just split it 50-50. Done.
Do you know who I am? This big diamond! It's all yours!
Am I going to see Beau is Afraid anytime soon? No, I wasn't planning on going anywhere to see it. I don't know. I don't watch trailers, and so I don't really know what the film is about. I don't know what occurs in it or anything like that. It didn't really strike me as like another Hereditary sort of horror film based on what I heard. But I don't know. I don't know.
Enemy targets.
I'd be more likely to go see Evil Dead Rises if I was gonna go, or Evil Dead Rise, whatever it's called. If I was gonna go somewhere. But I am going next Saturday to see Guardians 3. Which really feels like the end of the old MCU, just kind of like finishing off. So hopefully that's all right.
Time to twirl. Ready for another? Time to twirl. Time to twirl. Don't mess with me.
Yeah. So that's kind of that. But hear good things about Guardians. Marvel films have not been hitting recently. Yeah, that has kind of been the issue. I don't know how much interest I have in even watching Ant-Man. Probably at some point, because I watched the Eternals when I was like gravely ill. So maybe when I'm gravely ill, I'll just want to watch Ant-Man for some reason. But yeah, it's and I was I ordered 10 tickets for Guardians 3 because I was like, okay, this is like, you know, the last kind of big old MCU film. It's gonna be something. There's gonna be a lot of people who want to see it, and so far we've ended up with 4 people that are going.
Great.
So that's nice. Part of that is because my friend and his wife are in the hospital right now having twins, so they are not going to be able to go see Guardians.
Now, so you are afraid of me.
But yeah,
Data secured.
Wakanda wasn't trash. No, I would not say Wakanda was trash, but I wouldn't really say it was great either. Maybe that was just me.
Do you know who I am? This big diamond! It's all yours!
But I never even rewatched the first Black Panther.
Who's next? I'll free you from your disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
It's not what a lot of people wanted from it. Well, yeah, what we wanted was Chadwick Boseman to do more Black Panther, but you know, life gets in the way of that.
Honored to meet me. Fresh. Just a little something.
But yeah, it was very, you know, grief oriented and female oriented, and yeah, just it was fine. It was fine.
Naughty child. No. A sharp scythe needs targets.
Yeah. I capped this out yet? I did. Okay, good. Flame all. Good. Black Panther 1 was better. Yes, I would say so. I think most people would say so. Okay. What else was I gonna talk about? Not much, I guess.
Huh?
Has not been an extremely eventful week. just working and gaming like every other week.
You rest. I'll stand guard.
But yeah, I went through a bunch of games recently to just try and find something to grab my attention. Dead Island 2. I bought Dead Island 2, and I already beat Dead Island 2. I didn't 100% it, because to 100% it, you have to do all these other like little challenges, and I was like, I don't really care about that. But I 86%ed it, which was all the story missions and all the side missions and all the like lost and found other side missions. So I did all the sort of structured content. It was pretty fun. As someone that didn't really get into Dead Island 1, or like Dying Light 1 or Dying Light 2 that much, I was surprised how much I enjoyed Dead Island 2. It's certainly not very serious of a game. You know, it kind of knows what it is, and I felt the combat was fun enough. And sort of the progression process of just getting better and better equipment, you know, weapons and things like that, without getting bogged down with like skill trees or anything like that. I mean, there were these like cards that modified your abilities and stats a little bit, but it was a very small part of the overall experience. Mostly it was just kind of progressing through LA, California locations and killing just a lot of zombies. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I recommend it. Although it is not that lengthy of an experience. I don't think Epic Games even shows playtime. Oh no, there it does. It says I played 32 hours of it, but obviously that's going to be inflated because I know I left it running. But I would probably say I got a good 20, 25 hours out of it. So a fun 20-25 hours is worth your $60, then I definitely recommend it. Otherwise, you know, obviously wait till it goes on sale, and it should be a good time. So that was one that I kind of got into. I picked up Dredge because everyone's been talking about that. It's got overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam right now. This is just this new indie darling, Dredge. And yeah, I played it for, what does this say? 82 minutes. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's obviously for a certain kind of gamer. It's certainly a more casual gamer. It's not very in-depth or anything like that. A pun possibly intended. You know, it's a fishing game, but the fishing process is like just a mini game, you know, like Stardew or something. Like, it's just, you have to press a button at a certain time, like a few times, and then you catch the fish or something like that, you know. And then there's sort of like Resident Evil inventory management with, like, you know, fish come in different shapes and you have to fit them into your storage in certain ways. And then you roam around on your boat to get different fish and do the different side quests and things like that. And then there's the whole, like, Lovecraftian aspect of it, where not all is right in this corner of the world, and there's, like, Lovecraftian horrors around. But I didn't even really experience that yet, because, like, the actual gameplay was just so, like, casual. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Obviously, I didn't find, like, the fishing mechanic that fun, which is kind of the core part of it. Did I ever play Call of Cthulhu? So the video game titled The Call of Cthulhu, was that a, yeah, oh, it wasn't even The Call of Cthulhu, it's just called Call of Cthulhu. Yes, I played it for 7 hours, and I must have beaten it because I'm pretty sure I did a let's play of it. Yep. I don't remember anything about it, and anything that I might remember about it, I'm probably confusing it with, like, The Sinking City. I couldn't even tell you a gameplay mechanic from this game. Was there shooting in this, or was that Sinking City? Was this just a detective mystery game? Man, I don't remember shit.
Showed you some.
Why? Okay, if I mute the video on Steam and then I skip forward in the video, that shouldn't unmute the video. Why would that override it? Here, I'll try it again. It's muted.
For the terrible.
Look at that. That's fucking terrible. What is that? What is that, Valve? Dredge sounds like something you should probably try. Yeah, I mean, it's super popular. So I think for most people, it's probably a big hit. Also, can I just say, when you have a gameplay trailer, when I watch a gameplay trailer, when I click on one, what I fucking expect to see throughout the entire course of the video is a UI. If I don't see a UI, then it's not a gameplay trailer, unless the game doesn't actually have a UI, which maybe that's the case for this game. I don't remember. I mean, this, what I'm looking at, this kind of does look like actual gameplay without a HUD. But like the Armored Core 6 thing that they just released, and it was like a gameplay trailer of Armored Core 6, and I didn't see a HUD like once. And I'm like, how am I expected to believe what any of this is? This is just like a cinematic trailer of gameplay. That's not what I want. I want to see the game being played. Shooting detective mystery. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it, and I don't recall having a great opinion of it. I think it was probably pretty similar to my opinion on the Sinking City, of just like, okay, it's, you know, a Lovecraft game, and it was fine. If a game was really good, I feel like I would remember it. That's basically it. Gosh, what else was I talking? Oh, I was going over games that I tried. Yeah. So Dredge. I tried out this game called Spaceborne 2. Because people, you know, I tried out Star Citizen, I made that video, and then people were discussing like space games like that, X4 Foundation and stuff like that. And some people mentioned Spaceborne 2. It's got a very positive rating on Steam. It's made by like one guy in Turkey, and it has like space flight, it's got trading, it's got like sort of you can like build up an entire empire of like various ships under your control and things like that. You can get out of your ship and have a jetpack, and there's like gun combat. It's like, it's got everything that you'd expect, but it's like made by one guy. The ambition of it is just absurd. And I think there probably is some fun to be had, but it felt somewhat janky to me still. So I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed with what I played. Someday I think it could be pretty cool. But yeah, it is funny that like it's kind of on par with Star Citizen in a lot of ways, of like the actual things you can do, and it's made by one guy, so you know, interesting. War Tales is another game. This was I don't know if it's a spiritual successor to Battle Brothers, or if it's just like inspired by Battle Brothers. But basically it's an open world RPG. You start with just this small troop of like adventurers or bandits or outcasts or whatever you want to be. And you have to roam around the world, exploring it, recruiting more people, doing some like missions and jobs for people, collecting bounties and all sorts of stuff like that. And the actual combat is a grid-based tactical stuff. Actually, I don't think it's grid-based. God, no. It is sort of grid-based, but not strictly. But yeah, it's tactical, turn-based combat, and it's pretty brutal. It's fairly easy for your people to die, so it's somewhat like realistic as far as combat is concerned. And yeah, the whole concept of it is kind of just like you being thrown into this somewhat like low fantasy world kind of, and making it what you will. But it, you know, it's not like that. The scope of it is not that intense. Like, you're never going to be like building up your own town or anything, like, you know, and starting to like turn it into an RTS. So, you know, it's always just going to be a small group of you going around and doing missions and you have to worry about feeding them and paying your people so they'll stick with you, and there's a lot of little mechanics going in there. It seemed interesting, but it didn't grab me when I first fired it up and played. And then I guess the last one I tried was sort of an indie zombie survival game that I saw Ambiguous Amphibian playing called Z Zone. Yeah, it's interesting. It's not turn-based. It's somewhat similar to Project Zomboid, I would say. I think that's sort of the market it's going for, is the Project Zomboid market. It didn't seem as in-depth as Zomboid, but it was definitely more like action-oriented with the combat. I didn't play much. I got interrupted, and then I never fired it back up. But it seemed okay. It's hard. Any sort of like indie, like 2D-ish zombie survival game, it's just inevitably going to get compared for me to Cataclysm, and nothing will ever live up to Cataclysm. So I don't know. That's why I like Dead Island 2. Like, it wasn't trying to be anything other than what it was, which was just this splatter fest through LA. Somewhat humorous and just a lot. There was a lot of gore in that game. There's a lot of fucking gore in that game. It's one of the goriest games I think I've ever played. But anyways. So yeah, I've just been flipping through and trying a bunch of different games. To be honest, I think I actually might just play the Rogue Trader Alpha on my own, rather than trying to like convince myself to do a let's play of it. I might just fire it up on occasion and just start playing a bit more of it, just so I can actually play it for the sponsorship or collab or whatever it is we're doing. Yeah. I guess that's kind of about it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about, so that's usually the point where we end. But yeah, so more Pathfinder for sure. We've got like 50, 60, let's say 50 more parts of that. Actually, I don't remember the exact number. Actually, I might be mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I just thought it was going to be 50 more when I was recording it because it just felt so long. I don't know. It might only be 30 more or something like that. But then there's also Kingmaker that I did, and that's going to be 24 parts total. So a lot of Pathfinder. Then we also have Genshin Impact. I'm really going to try to just keep that boat moving. I don't think that's a phrase, but I'm going to keep the ball rolling. There you go. So that we just kind of get through Genshin. Obviously, the game's not like finished. So even when I get caught up, there's still going to be more to do later. But I'd like to get caught up. And Jedi Survivor, I'm just going to keep recording that and uploading it whenever. It's just going to pop up on occasion. Along with Mangg Plays the Best Games of All Time, of which I did another Star Wars game, TIE Fighter. Man, what a piece of shit that Oh God. I think that and Populous were the two most like just bewildering games to be put on the list so far. There are games on the list where it's just like, wow, this is very much just okay. You know, where I you know, it's not my thing, or it's just kind of been outclassed by other game like racing games and stuff. But it's just like, okay, it's fine. But then there are games that are just like, this is bad and no one really should play this. The only reason people play this is entirely due to nostalgia. So Populous and TIE Fighter definitely on the list. And TIE Fighter was Populous. I knew it was going to be shit because I remember that game. TIE Fighter I never played, but I've always heard like good things about it. So I was kind of going in there somewhat optimistically, but whew, boy. Yeah, that was. You got to watch TIE Fighter. Yeah, it's a rough one. Earthbound's on the list, and I didn't do it even though I've never made videos on Earthbound. And I think probably I just said that it's like, yeah, it's one of the best games of all time just because I'm so familiar with it. But I actually really wouldn't mind doing a series playthrough of Mother 2, which is Earthbound, and Mother 3. Because I've never played Mother 3, despite being a huge fan of Earthbound. Because Earthbound was a game that I'm sure I told this at some point, but my brother and my family went on a vacation, like up north into the woods, to a cabin that our family had. We only, like, apparently my grandpa like owned the cabin. We only went up to that cabin once in my entire life, so I don't know what exactly happened with that, but on the way up, there was a town nearby the cabin before we got there, and there was a Blockbuster there, and of course we had brought along our Super Nintendo, of course, and so we popped into Blockbuster to rent a game for the it was supposed to be like a fishing weekend, sort of, but you know, we're big gamers, so we rented a game, and in that Blockbuster, in the middle of nowhere, there was Earthbound, and we didn't know what the fuck it was. But we grabbed it, and yeah, that's the only reason I even remember that vacation, was because it was just like this magical game that was so different than like Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger or something. You know, it was like this small town kind of Americana stuff going on. It was so like just modern day. Oh man, what a unique game that was. Why don't I and Lego play the Mother games? The problem is that would be a lot of hours, and Lego and I, for Two Brothers Play, we tend to switch it up fairly often. We're still trying to like get viewers. You know, like we're not trying too hard. We don't want it to be like a big thing or anything like that, but we like having regular viewers so that we can chat with them and things like that. And generally we get more viewers when we do like newer, you know, exciting stuff that people are actually going to click on. Whereas when we do old ass bullshit, no one watches it. Like Stardew, like no one was there the entire night last night, pretty much. So yeah, playing through the Mother games would take a long time, and really no one would watch. So it's more of a thing for me to just do on my own, because I don't care when I'm recording. You know, I can play for hours and hours and it doesn't matter. But yeah, I really should do the Mother series, because I've never played Mother 1, I've never played Mother 3, and I haven't really played through Earthbound in years and years. But I also would like to do, I need to record a video for Theme Park, because that was added to this best games list and I haven't done it. So I'd like to check that out. But other than that, we've got some interesting games coming up for that series. We've got the first XCOM UFO Defense. We've got Command and Conquer, Warcraft 2, Mech Warrior 2, Worms, Civilization 2, Red Alert, Duke Nukem 3D, Quake, the first Resident Evil, first Tomb Raider, first Age of Empires, Diablo's coming up, and then there's a bunch of games that are just like I didn't even make videos on because I don't need to. The first Fallout, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 7. I think I actually did do a video for GoldenEye, and I'm pretty sure I determined that I don't think it's one of the best games of all time. But maybe that's personal bias because Perfect Dark is just better. But I don't know. I think GoldenEye is honestly another one of those just extreme nostalgia games that so many people have. And I think a lot of people that were just like hugely into GoldenEye didn't pick up Perfect Dark because it wasn't such like an established franchise. And that's a huge bummer. Because I did have Perfect Dark, and we played so much more Perfect Dark than we ever played GoldenEye. Because it was just better. It had like all these cool bots in the multiplayer, and it had like cooler weapons and equipment. It had the fucking the laptop turret, and so, oh man. And the Far Sight, man, I was the fucking god of the Far Sight. So many, like, they had to like turn that weapon off because I would always just grab it and then just sit in the back of the map and snipe everybody through the walls. What a fucking bonkers weapon that was. Anyways. Yeah, so fortunately Perfect Dark is also on the list, so that's good. But anyways, I think that's enough chatting. So yeah, Pathfinder, Genshin, Jedi, Survivor, more best games of all time. Over on the Exploring series, we got a video on the Fortress World of Cadia for 40K. And next week we'll be back to SCP. So thank you all for tuning in, for chatting. It's all good. I appreciate it. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.